Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ricky with Tech Solutions. I hope that you guys are all having an amazing day. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about how I purchased my fifth investment property by age 23. So I hope you guys enjoy. This video is not only going to talk about the property and talking about the specs and stuff like that. Like, that's irrelevant. I know some of you guys might be interested to learn a little bit more about the house because you're involved in myself and my lifestyle and stuff like that. But very quickly, the house, I've been blessed to be able to buy this house. The offer just got accepted this morning. It's a total of 5,700 square feet. It was built in 2015. It's a total of 8 rooms. One's a movie room and one's like an office area, and then the rest are bedrooms. An amazing, beautiful house. It has a little bit under $200,000 invested in upgrades, all in the backyard with a beautiful, pool, fire pit, and all that good stuff. And I think it's going to be a perfect house for the Tech Solutions partners that we have that are going to be moving in. So it's going to be me and 3 other individuals that are partnered with Tech Solutions that are going to be living in that house. We're going to have the Tech Solutions HQ that's going to be very close to the house itself, so we could commute, and I'm super excited. I'm super blessed, and I really hope that you guys enjoy this breakdown and that it can put it into perspective on how at an early age, or regardless of what age it is that I'm catching you at, how accessible it actually is to qualify. What we're going to reference is $1 million house, but how to kind of get started. And I'm going to share kind of like my story from the very beginning. So one of the first video that I ever uploaded on this YouTube channel, you guys can go back, is when I was 20 years old, and I talked about me buying my first house, which is the house that I currently live in. In this breakdown, I'm going to put it into perspective on how originally buying a house that's on average from around $100,000 to $200,000, how I've been able to scale up ever since, and then my fifth property to be more in the closer to the $1 million range and stuff like that. So I really hope that it could provide some perspective on how to scale up, and also some form of motivation for each and every single one of you. So I hope that you guys all enjoy. Buying my fifth property at age 23, one of my main focuses, something that I've been very realistic with, is my stable income. I actually did not leave my normal job that I had. It was a commission-based job. I worked for a telecommunication company that was based on commission. It was a job that I had from the age of like 19 or 18 and stuff like that, that assisted me in being able to qualify for my first house and a series of houses that I was able to purchase after. But not, I'm a huge supporter in a stable income. You guys can watch a couple of those videos for those that don't understand what a telecommunication-based job is. Google it. It's commission-based. It's something that I always encourage a lot of our younger individuals to focus on when they're first getting started, is to build that stable source of income, and build that 2-year, right? So when it comes down to you being maybe like 20 years old, that you yourself will be able to qualify for your first investment property as well. So that's definitely going to be one of my main focuses. The other thing that I think added a huge factor that I think the average individual doesn't really focus on is multiple sources of income, not just to qualify for the house, but to actually be able to afford the down payment. That's the biggest factor. And this is something personally that I did not know. So how many of you guys knew that to qualify, so this is an example, for $1 million house, based on the series of comps that I've been able to run with the real estate agents that I've been able to speak to, the average, to qualify for $1 million house with the current market that we're in right now, based on my understanding, again, I'm not a professional, is $150,000 to $180,000 of a yearly income to qualify for $1 million house. How crazy is that? How many people? How many of you guys knew that you only had to make $150,000 to $180,000 to qualify for a $1 million house? Don't get me wrong. 150 to 180 is a huge amount of money. But to qualify for $1 million home, how many of you guys know someone that makes $150,000 to $180,000 a year that owns $1 million home? Let me, put this into perspective. Like, there's a lot of people. There's a good amount of people that make that amount of money. But why do they not live in $1 million home? The number one reason, I personally think, is because they do not have enough to put for the down payment. So this is, again, in this specific concept, is to put 20% down. So the example is $150,000 to $180,000 to qualify for a $1 million home, right? A down payment of about 20%, right, to get rid of PMI, $200,000. $200,000, wait, but you're making $150,000 to $180,000 a year. That might be very difficult for someone that is just getting started, or for someone that has a family and all the expenses that come with that, to be able to save up $200,000 just for a down payment, And this is where the multiple sources of income plays a huge role, at least for my specific style of investing in real estate, which might be completely different for you, but I really hope that it can guide you in the right direction. Qualifying for a house is one thing. A lot of people with a normal job can qualify for a house. You know, me at 18, 19, 20, I was making anywhere from $45,000 to $65,000 a year. You guys can search it up on the yearly salary for people that work on commission-based jobs. It's not very unrealistic, right? If you're aggressive with sales, great. You could aim for that goal to qualify for about $100,000 to even $300,000 house. The most difficult part is to qualify or to be able to afford that down payment. And obviously the monthly mortgage, right? Because usually when people make more, they spend more. I made a whole video talking about how to actually, start saving money. I think that's a huge area that I excel in that I think a lot of people don't. And that is why I'm making this video. I want you guys to know where my strong points are that allowed me to be at age 23 to have owned a series of 5 properties. And my 5th property being, I was qualified for well over $1 million. Right? And how was I able to do that? Again, stable income is very important, but another huge part is to be able to afford the down payment. And I think having a series of multiple incomes is a huge area of opportunity for a lot of people because your stable income is gonna help you qualify and provide that stability. But if you can work extra hard for these extra sources of income, even if they're $250, $500 extra a month, I'm gonna explain to you why that is so much money to work towards to purchase your first house. And this is super exciting because if any of you guys are within that area or relatively close, you guys can possibly purchase your first house relatively pretty soon. So again, and this is based on my area. Obviously I live in Arizona, the cost of living is much less. Again, this is why I'm sharing my story. I know it's specific to my specific lifestyle. So again, just understand that. But one thing that I wanted to say is, again, why am I circling this, the $200,000? The $1 million qualification, like to make 180 or 150 to 180, like that's $165,000 on average. That was something to work towards, but once you're there, it's very easy to maintain that. The most difficult part for me was the saving, right? Saving that for that down payment, $200,000, main focus for me. And I would encourage a lot of people to have that to be their main focus. I work on saving money and my credit. That was a huge area of opportunity for a lot of people based on my understanding. And this is the whole purpose of this video, scaling. Forget about the house that I'm buying. Forget about the $1 million house. How can you get to purchase your first home? And this is the best part, the thing that I think that really puts it into perspective on how close you can be to purchase your first house. It's no secret. You guys can do the math, get in contact with your real estate agent, get in contact with the lender, and start breaking down the numbers. Start taking action. There's no excuses. You don't need to comment down below. Just start taking action. Reach out to those people around your area. Now, scaling for $100,000 to a $200,000 home, right? I know if you're in California, that might not buy you, I'm originally from California, that might not buy you a very nice house. This is just me putting it into perspective. I went from California to Arizona. The reason I moved was because of my university, ASU, but also I knew the cost of living was much less. So it could accommodate my lifestyle. Something that I did, that I took that sacrifice or that risk to move locations because I could, just afford it, the cost of living here. It was much more realistic for me. It's a step that I took, right? It's a risk. Scaling to qualify for a $100,000 to $200,000 house. This is the breakdown. Okay, so you're telling me that to qualify for $1 million house, right? I need to be making $165,000 a year to qualify for $1 million house, right? Now, to qualify for, on average, a $150,000 house, I need to be making on average about $35,000 a year. So with 20% down, that's $30,000 as a down payment. That's my main focus. That's my main focus. So what does that mean? If I need within the next 2 years, I need to be making $35,000 a year. First of all, if you're in the United States, that even at age 18, that is very, very realistic for you. Even with a normal income, not doing anything special, not investing in the stock market, not investing in real estate, not buying and reselling cars, to get a normal job that pays on average $35,000 a year is not very difficult. Especially if you're watching this video. You're not watching this video because I'm entertaining or anything like that. You might be, but realistically, you're watching this video because you're motivated. And if you're motivated, you're probably worth more than the average person. So then you should be compensated that way, right? Tell yourself that. The thing that I wanted to focus on is, all right, $30,000, that's the down payment. Once you start making $35,000 a year, you're making it. That's coming in, right? The goal is your credit, the 2-year work history, and the $30,000 down, the biggest area of opportunity for a lot of people. So what does that break down to? $1,250 a month if you start from the very beginning. This is not scaling up, right? What I mean by that is like, first you can start by saving $500 a month, and then as time goes on, as you explore and expand the series of incomes that you create, the $500 can then turn it, from your stable income, you can start making $250 extra a month. Let's say by buying and reselling stuff online, right? Or let's say you make an extra $500 a month by buying and reselling, pocket bikes, right? Regardless of what it is, your goal is to make an extra $500 a month. And then on top of that, let's say you open up a drop shipping store and it makes you $250 a month. Or you start investing in the stock market and then you start making an extra $250 a month. Something to get you to that goal, right? Obviously, it's not gonna be, for some of you, you might already be there. For some of you, you're gonna have to work towards that to be able to consistently make $1,250 a month to be able to save. Not bring in, right? You're still bringing in with the $35,000, if I'm not mistaken, it's about $2,900 a month. Obviously, that's before tax. But again, bringing in almost $3,000 a month, let's say you can save $1,000 of that, of your core income, let's say, right? It's still gonna be difficult, but it's sacrifice. It's if you want this certain lifestyle, if you want this achievement, especially at a young age, $1,000 out of the $3,000 that you make, you are saving. So $1,000, that leaves $250 left. That's the goal. And this is the most important part. To be able to buy, so if I'm catching you at 16 years old, if I'm catching you at 17, 18, regardless of what age I'm catching you at, 18, 20, 30, if you're working towards buying your first house, one of the biggest areas of opportunity for myself was I had that stable income. I knew I had that, right? I was good at saving money, right? I knew because I partnered up with my real estate agent and I was partnered up with a lender, right? I became aware of what they told me to my understanding of what I needed to make a year, what I needed to save for the down payment of that house, and then where my credit had to be. Make the call. Start calling a series of different real estate agents and then see the different lenders that they're partnered up with, and call 10 of them, call 20 of them. Invest a weekend to become familiar with how much you need to make to buy your first house and start breaking it down. A lot of you are so much closer to buying your first house. And the reason that I keep saying your first house is, I'm buying a house that is in the $800,000 to $1 million range, but it did not start off this way. This house that I first purchased was in the $100,000 to $200,000 range. It's obviously worth much more than that now, but I bought a house, the house that I bought next door was worth about twice as much. It's also much bigger, it's about 1,000 square feet more. And guess what? I still lived in this one because the rental income was so much greater on that house. And it's these sacrifices that you make, right? So once you buy your first house, you become just obsessed with like this specific niche of investing in real estate. I'm no real estate guru. It's something that I've explained from the very beginning. I'm just someone that's curious about how to make more money when it comes down to my multiple sources of income. And it's something that I think not enough people talk about, especially at an early age. So many people are focused on just being an entrepreneur, working for yourself, being your own boss. I get that. I get how that's amazing, but it's also amazing to build that. And I don't want to misguide anyone in the wrong direction. You do what it is that you see value in, but I truly enjoyed working for these telecommunication companies, and they're Fortune 500 companies. They paid very well, they're commission based, they paid for my school, right? I was attending ASU, and there was great benefits. I was able to surround myself with very motivated young individuals that were very motivated by their commissions and sales, right? And it's just this overall experience and this lifestyle that you learn at this workplace that then, once you're done with that, you can be doing your schoolwork, and then you might have a hobby on the side that can provide that extra source of income. There's so many different things that you can do. But again, the thing that got me to be able to buy my 5th investment property was this first house. And it was being able to make that, $45,000 to $65,000. I give the example of $35,000, right? $35,000, that's like the golden number. But just become familiar with what it is that you need to make per year to qualify for your first investment property. It's that easy. Because once you buy your first, especially if you are really passionate about this market, like myself, it's just a snowball effect. You're gonna buy one, and then you're gonna inquire about learning about how to buy your second one, and then your third one, and then your fourth one, and then your fifth one. And then, a couple years down the road, you might have 10, 15, 20. You might be making 6, 7 figures a month, a year, right? Just by your rental properties, not even having to lift a finger, because you bought your first house making $35,000 a year, and because you made the sacrifice of saving money. Invest in your future. I don't have a course when it comes down to real estate investing. I'm no real estate guru. I'm just someone that is curious and very passionate about the real estate market. I've always been very interested about it. I've always been very interested in it. And there's a statistic that the average millionaire, if I'm not mistaken, are successful because of real estate. It's definitely something that is very lucrative, right? It's a very traditional platform to invest in, but it's something that I just hope that a lot of you guys do consider. Plan for your future. That's definitely something that I want to make sure that you guys understand. If you guys want to invest in the stock market, obviously, we offer TechBot Solutions. It's our free trading group. We're the fastest growing trading group in the world. We have over 130,000 members. You don't have to join our group, right? It's free. It's that third link down below. But if there's so many different options out there. You can learn how to buy and resell cars. You can learn how to buy and resell stuff online. You can learn how to drop ship. You can start your own business. You can sell gum on the side of the street, regardless of what you want to do. Just be motivated, be realistic, and now because of this, you guys are aware of this market. Start taking action. Call these real estate agents up. Become familiar with what it is that you need to work towards for your stable income, for your credit, and then what you need to be making per month to be able to save to then qualify for the down payment. Because again, qualification is one thing. To be able to actually afford is another. And that's what we're here to do, right? You're not watching this video because you're normal. You're watching this video because you're motivated. Let's not forget that. So thank you guys again for everything that you guys do. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, please feel free to give it a big thumbs up. And if you guys want to be able to work with me a little bit on a closer basis, again, this is solely for those that want to learn a little bit more on how to successfully invest in the stock market. You guys can work with me every single day. I trade live every single day with this private course group. It's that first link down below. Feel free to check it out if you're interested. If you're not, 100%, I totally understand. I wish you the best in your venture, and I hope you guys continue to kill it this 2018 and the years that follow. Like always, guys, continue working hard, continue following your dreams. Let your passion be what drives your success. And like always, let's make sure that we're in the year on a green out. Take it easy, team.
I'm on a new level. 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 Brought me a new shovel.